It's time. I'm gonna let them in. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chris.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing this evening? We have the poll question up. You could take time to read it, answer it, reflect on it. For all the students that's newly trickling in, you see the poll question up. Can you please reflect on it, answer it? I see it straddling between talking to someone I trust, taking a break, or resting. The 7% say ignoring it, moving on. 78% participated, just a little while longer. If you haven't answered, please answer the questions. 82%. Couple more seconds. Okay, so I see the biggest one is taking a break or resting. Second, talking to someone I trust. Nobody chose reframing the challenge, and a few people chose ignoring it and moving on. For me, when it comes to a topic like that, when stress hits, I it just depends on what's causing the stress. That may cause me to either talk to someone I trust or take a break or resting or just reframing the challenge because stress can cause one to also doubt themselves depending on what's causing that stress. It could cause a person to believe that you don't have enough to complete whatever that challenge is. So sometimes just takes reframing the challenge, like changing your perspective on what's going on and changing the narrative that you're telling yourself about the challenge itself that can boost your energy in that moment just based on the perception shift. So reframing the challenge sometimes allow the stress to subside and for me to get that added dose of energy to tackle that challenge on a different level. So I would juggle between the first three depending on what's causing the stress, you know. And also just I will add one and say doing something different. Sometimes just, watching a movie and getting back to the task can remove the stress. So but yeah, that's good. I'm glad everyone's here, alive and well, and ready to elevate. Let's go to the first slide, please. Okay, so this week we're talking about grit and resilience. Last week, oh yeah, we talked about grit and resilience. Last week we covered becoming your own decision architect. Our environment quietly shapes the choices we make through design, framing, and subtle cues. We explored how these nudges influence our behavior, often without us noticing, and how awareness helps us regain control. By practicing positive nudges, we discover how to design environments that make good decisions easier and more intentional. Next slide. Today, our learning objectives are: grit is developed through long term passion and perseverance, with consistent effort being more crucial for achievement than talent or brief motivation. Explore resilience, how resilience developed through setbacks, optimism, and a growth mindset, and learn how reframing challenges can strengthen confidence and persistence. Build grit and resilience by setting long term goals, reframing failure as feedback, and developing small, consistent habits for growth. That's what we'll be covering. And at the end of the day, to keep it short before we move on, is talent might get you attention, but grit gets you results. So let's keep that in mind. Passion, something you deeply care about. Perseverance is what you do when you don't feel like it, and over time that will equal the secret that most people quit before. So let's get into it. Right now we about to watch two movie clips from the movie The Karate Kid that I really want to like base this.
I'm
저에게 이분은 자유죠. 광활한 우주에서 하고 싶은 일을 마음껏 할 수가.
We can cut it right here. Yeah, so apologies for that, the internet connection. And I hope you all seen the movie. That sums up what we're about to talk about right now with grit. And those scenes right there, it show how Dre thought he was being made. He didn't see progress in his mind. He was getting frustrated. He almost quit it. But then Mr. Han showed him that repetition. He always was practicing. He was always consistent in working. And when you're consistent, you is that my internet connection or?
Yes, Bryson, it seems like you're cutting off.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So the teaching point of that is growth often feels pointless until it feels powerful. You know, so most of the time, grit looks boring, to be honest. Your homework may feel pointless at one point. Practicing feels boring. Showing up feels small. But you do it enough times, then you see the big reward that looks like things happen overnight, but the whole time you've been consistent. Whether you feel like it or not, you're consistent. And once you internalize it and it becomes a way of life, it doesn't matter if you're motivated or not. It's just in you. So you're going to do it. You're going to get the job done. And at the end, it always pays off. So you say grit is a predictor of success. And when it comes to that, Dre had a passion immediately. He wanted to fight, but passion without training, he was just getting beat up by the kids. Perseverance over time, it equals skill. So he was able to, be at their same level or even better. And only the one who doesn't stop will guarantee success. That's the biggest lesson in life because you're going to be met with resistance. You're going to be met with opposition. You're going to have challenges. The only one who can guarantee success is the one who won't stop. Period. If you just lean on talent, a lot of talented people are lazy at the end of the day because they believe in their talent so much, not realizing that most industries are saturated with competition. So your talent is not enough to not be overlooked. The one who is consistent will be the one who can guarantee his success, you know. And Dre, his passion was anger at first, but Mr. Han gave it structure. You got to be able to have direction for your passion. Like it says on that square right there, passion requires direction. Without direction, anger only going to equal fights and going to equal punishment in real life. With direction, your anger can equal discipline, which translate into skill. So for do anybody how many of you started something and quit when it gets repetitive? By show emojis, you can do emojis, you can leave it in the chat or anything. Just think about it. How many of you start something and then quit when it gets repetitive? It said depends. Okay, so whatever, if that applies to you, it's best to look at that clip, that jacket on, jacket off, and apply that. What's your 30-day jacket on, jacket off? So that it can turn into a habit and become a way of life so that you can achieve results, even on the days you don't feel like doing it. That's a good mindset to be in because, right, it says in this square, effort counts twice. And what that means is effort counts twice means that effort is a multiplier. Talent and effort equal skill, but skill and effort equal achievement. Dre wasn't the strongest kid. He wasn't the most experienced, but he trained consistently, so focus on that. And we can move on to the slide 5. All right, so we had a workbook question where we're about to go into breakout rooms for about 4 minutes and for everyone to think about this. Think about something you stuck with over time. What helped you stay consistent even when the initial excitement faded?
All right, I'm opening the breakout rooms now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so it was a lot of great questions, a lot of great answers, and I will also go as far as to say to that workbook questions that work ethic itself, without looking at one particular thing, like one thing that I stuck with over time is just having work ethic, no matter what I got into, because I believe that discipline in one area is transferable. If you can be disciplined in exercising and turn that into a habit, into a lifestyle, it will help you to be disciplined in another area, whether it's like writing or reading or etc. And then you become more disciplined in that, and that increases your power to be more disciplined in another area. So it's just work ethic itself. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, resilience, bouncing back. So let me see. Bouncing back and learning from setbacks, the growth mindset connection. So when it comes to the growth mindset, that's pretty much like being optimistic, having a certain perspective on things that allow you to grow through every experience, every challenge, every obstacle that you have to overcome. You have to have the growth mindset because that will affect how you perform in that moment. It will also affect the outcome of how you become after that experience. So having a growth mindset, there's nothing you can't go through that you won't grow through. So you got to be optimistic and have that as your buffer so that no matter what, like you always going to elevate and you're always going to see the jewels and everything, the raw stones, the diamonds in every experience. Next slide, please. Oh, we're back to another online workbook question where we will go back into the breakout room for another 4 minutes and for everyone to think about a time you failed at something important. How did you respond? And what would you do differently now with a growth mindset?
All right, I'm opening the breakout rooms now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, a lot of great answers again. That mindset is important. Every experience you have, whether you achieve what you want or you don't, your mindset will dictate. It often dictates whether you win in the moment, but if you don't get what you want, it's going to dictate what you become after that. It can because failure can be discouraging if you don't have the right mindset, or it can be encouraging because you understand that I just learned something right now. When I know what don't work, it communicates to me what does work. I just didn't do it in that moment, but now going forward, I'm about to make it happen. It's all in the mindset. Okay, next workbook question. Let me next slide. Okay, how to build grit and resilience in your own life. Now we're about to get to it. Choose one challenge and stick with it. In the movie, Dre chose Kung Fu, not everything, so you don't have to try to improve on everything at once. Choose one challenge and stick with it. Once you achieve that, choose another challenge and stick with it. Everything will compound. Like I said, effort counts twice. It's a multiplier. So don't uh risk burning yourself out. And you also risk your chances of not achieving something where you're everywhere and you're doing everything at once. So choose one challenge and stick with it. And then two, reframe failure as feedback, as we just spoke about. Training is repetitive, whether we're studying for homework or whatever, it's repetitive and progress can often seem slow. So if you're waiting to feel motivated, then you're quit. So don't wait to feel motivated. Whatever you want to do it now. Especially depending on what your goals is. The longer you wait, the longer it'll take. And that's one thing that helped me when I was in prison. My very first cellmate, he used to always tell me that whatever you want to do, get to it. Because the longer you wait, the longer it's gonna take. And that always stuck with me. I don't lean on New Year's resolutions and stuff. I'm like, tomorrow is it. I'm not waiting for the next year. So and then number three, build small, consistent habits. as we spoke about again. You know, I would use the analogy of like when you eating food, right? The more food you eat, the more your stomach expands. And the more your stomach expands, the more food is able to intake. And it's the same with being resilient. The more you overcome, it could be small, tiny things, finishing a book, finishing a homework, finishing an exercise or a workout. Um, Small things. If you're into like selling product or whatever, just selling one thing that day, like build small, consistent habits. Because as long as you're consistent, you're going to be able to do more. You're going to be able to handle more pressure, bigger challenges because you've been consistent. So, and consistency, once again, beats talent. You could be talented, but be lazy. And in the world where most industries are saturated and competitive, it's easy for talented people to get lost in the sauce who are not consistent. So, next slide, please. Okay. Online workbook question. We're about to go back into the breakout rooms for 4 minutes and think of one area in your life where you want to become more consistent or resilient. What's one small action you can take each day to move forward? And how will you remind yourself to keep going when it gets hard?
All right, I'm opening the breakout rooms now. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so a lot of great answers. Next slide. Let's see what slide 10 has waiting for us. Okay, so next class is we talking about the four agreements. We're going to explore how words and perceptions shape how they see themselves and connect with others. We're going to learn how speaking with integrity builds trust and self-respect, and how not taking things personally supports confidence and emotional balance. And by practicing these agreements, you will develop healthier communication, stronger relationships, and greater resilience. Next slide, please. Okay, 90 seconds, more like give you 2 minutes to work on what you haven't completed yet and finish the questions in your workbook. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so these are the announcements. We have the Ignite Speaker Series to be announced and on March 2nd from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. So hopefully you guys can RSVP and be there by February 27th, 5 p.m. We also have field trips. Hopefully you can make it. The World Cup Symposium on March 15th, and the RSVP deadline is March 6th, 5 p.m. We also have the Rotary Club of Los Angeles Scholarship. This opportunity is for 12th graders only. So if you're in the 12th grade, this is an opportunity to expand your resources, your relationships, your experience, and your education. The Rotary Club is of Los Angeles Foundation is offering scholarships for high need, high performance students in Angeles County. These funds are awarded as scholarships each year through a program that includes evaluations and interviews for all participants. And the deadline for that is March 2nd. So, Basha, if I missed anything. Oh, and if you haven't turned in your workbook yet, completed that yet, then please turn it in.
All right. So thank you so much, Bryson. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. So, additional reminders, we have our student guide website. You can visit that for updates, any program information and announcements. The link is already in the chat. And if you have any concerns or questions, you can use the student help form. The link should also be in the chat. If you have any questions about the workshops, about all of the upcoming events, you can use the student help form. And since we still have about 10 minutes, I'm actually interested to hear some of the thoughts of our students. So I have here a quote from Angela Duckworth. So she's the author of the Growth Mindset book. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this quote. So she said, "Grit is living life like it's a marathon and not a sprint." So I was not able to join the breakout rooms earlier. So maybe some of you guys can share some of your thoughts about this quote. All right. So maybe I can start calling on some people. Can we have, let's have Nicole Miranda. Any thoughts about this that you can relate to what Bryson discussed today?
Can you repeat the question, please?
All right, so I am sending a quote in the chat. So it's from Angela Duckworth. She said, "Grit is living life like it's a marathon and not a sprint." So maybe you can share some insights to the group. Thank you.
Maybe it's connecting to what Bryson said, what it's always important to take your time with things and not just try to be the first one to get things done and have it be sloppy rather than take your time with it and do it like perfect.
All right. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Maybe you can popcorn it to someone else. We still have like 8 minutes. Thank you.
I'll popcorn it to Natalie.
Natalie, anything that you'd like to share?
I agree with what she said. I think like it's like taking your time does really like matter. So you can like instead of getting things done like fast, you take your time and you'll like do it better and like you have a better chance at succeeding.
All right. Thank you so much, Natalie. We really appreciate that. Maybe you can popcorn it to the next person. Thank you.
Alice.
I guess I interpreted it as like doing things little by little rather than like trying to rush it, because then you're gonna end up having like a messy job, like they were saying. Also like as well as like hold on, I'm reading it. Um, I guess like good things take time. So like you're not gonna get the results that you want in like a span of a week. Like it takes like a long time to get things, and then at the end it's gonna be worth it.
All right, 100%. Thank you so much for that. And last one, before we can pass it back to Bryson so that he can give us another closing insight about this code. All right, Alice, can you please popcorn it to the next person? Thank you.
Itself.
What happened? I didn't catch it.
Um, itself.
So, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had to do some. But the way I interpret the quote is that like living life, it's better to just shit because a sprint, although it is like fast, but it can only be fast up to a point while a marathon is like a lengthy process. So it's better to like just do that lengthy process all while going like to like finish your goal.
All
And
right,
I
thank you so
pick
much.
um
All right, thank you so much, Itzel. And now, maybe something to close our workshop today, Bryson. Anything that you'd like to, I mean, a message that you'd like to leave our students?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So to piggyback with all you guys have said, living like life is a marathon and not a sprint. That speaks to not only the physical sense, it's more so the mental sense, it's mindset. It's being in it for the long haul internally. Like before you even get into something, your mindset is I'm in it for the long haul, you know, and it's also saying that you're willing to delay gratification. You know, we often want things fast, like that instant gratification at a long term consequence. But when you're willing to delay gratification, you're willing to endure the pain that comes with that process, you know, because to get something you never had, you're doing stuff you never did. So you have to do things that stretch you, that's going to push you, that's going to, you know, be unpleasant in the beginning, you know, but having that mindset that this is a marathon. I may not get it on the first time. I may not get it on the second time. I may not get it on the third time. But if I'm in it for the long haul, I gotta win. I gotta win. Because as long as you're not dead, you know, all you gotta do is keep going. Eventually you're gonna get it. So I appreciate everybody being here and taking a chance on yourself, you know, not showing up for me, but showing up for yourself and growing and elevating and processing everything that's said. And hopefully you start your 30-day jacket on, jacket off process of whatever you wanted to be consistent on, more resilient with. So thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Bryson, for that insightful workshop today. And again, thank you guys for joining us. If you have questions, you can stay in the meeting. And if you don't have any questions, I think you can just leave the meeting now. Thank you so much. Have a great
Drop the
night.
emojis.